looking somewhere. One other thing I think is probably worth having a quick look at is people with a regimental gun. So if we have a pike and shot unit with a regimental gun against another pike and shot unit, how does that work? Is that an extra dice shooting? Is it a +1? What is it?
No, so all the regimental artillery or regimental gun does.
Yeah.
So it costs 4 points to add it to a unit.
And this unit is how many points roughly? What, 20 odd or 18?
Probably 17 points.
17 points. So an extra, that's quite a lot extra then, isn't it? That's a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to make the regimental artillery expensive because they are quite effective.
Yeah.
What they do is in shooting,
Yeah.
like the non-skirmisher arquebus,
Yeah.
when you shoot with the regimental artillery, if you tie, the regimental artillery breaks the tie. That's all it does.
So this guy shoots at factor 0. Their defense is factor 1.
Yep.
Whites against whites as usual. So actually, there's no ties there. It doesn't really matter. But if he got a tie, let's just cheat here and move that dice. So if this was the thing, this dice would have missed quite comprehensively. This dice 0, 3 is 3, protection of 1, 3. So that's a tie.
So you've now got a tie.
Gun.
Now the regimental artillery kicks in, varies, and we use the same language and concept as the swordsman two-handed weapon.
Okay. So it's the two-handed artillery then. That's why it's a little one. You carry it with 2 hands. That's all. I can remember that. Cool. All right. I think that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? It's just getting into the habit of rolling 2 dice and rolling reds against reds, whites against whites, isn't it? That's the only real difference. And I can see this, this does rattle along because 6 cohesion is 6 cohesion. But if you're taking potentially 2, 3, 4 a turn, you've actually got to be using generals and rear support to rally people a lot more than in ADLG because you've got less pieces and they leave a bigger hole, but it's easier to rally them with that extra plus, and it's important to rally them because they're only going when they get to 6. It's not it gets to 3 and you lose half of it. It's got to get to 6 before it's all gone, I guess.
Yeah. So what we found is that once you get the swing of it, and it takes a couple of games to get your head around and go, oh, yeah, a battle unit is just two units glued together.
Yeah.
You can really swing through a game, and you can really chuff through. So we've had games that have lasted an hour and a half, where things have gone horribly wrong.
Yep.
And that's been with either very large mounted armies, lots of foot armies. Like I brought in as example to a few games, and I took it to the one-day competition in London a few weeks ago. I brought the Scots Royalist Army, which is a whole army of mediocre and Highlanders. So I had 30 units on the table.
Wow. Well 30 equivalents, isn't it? Because that's 4, essentially. 30 breakpoints. Yeah.
So, but I was able to get every game thoroughly resolved, either through being beaten or winning. Okay. Because once you start to just use my red dice to your red dice, you can chuff through very quickly, and factors are relatively simple and lots of shooting. The Highlanders go in. Things either went very well or didn't. But you can move through very quickly. Yeah.
No, it's definitely. You can see that apart from my terrible dice rolling, which clearly was entirely CGI'd there because it didn't really do a lot of the time. But I can see you start to rack up the hits, and I think the other thing is you're going to be going into combat when you've taken disorder. So it's not, can I get into combat undisordered? It's, can I get into combat with more than 3 cohesion hits left, I guess. Because it almost feels like nearly everybody is going to have taken at least 1 somehow with all this shooting around. So
because when you think of this period,
everybody did take hits from shooting.
Everyone's shooting at close range, someone with a musket or arquebus or whatever. Everyone's going to be coming in slightly battered and bruised. You're not going to come in this unscathed.
No, but it's going to stick itself out. Cool. All right then. Well, look, hopefully that answered most things and we didn't get too much wrong. But certainly, I think you've been writing and playing enough that I'm sure it was all right. And I think I've only been playing a little bit, but it felt like I was getting most of that right as well, which is reassuring. Just roll 2 dice. It's 2 units. It shoots as 2 units. It takes cohesion as 1. That's kind of it. It fights as 2 units. That's the long and the short of it. So hopefully that all works for you. So that's the basics of ADLG-R.
There you go. And if you want to find the rules, we've now created a little website where we can publish the rules too. So it's www.adlg-r.com.
That's rocket science, isn't it? That's very good. I will superimpose that on the text, sorry, on the images, and off we go. So grand. Well, look, enjoy that and download the rules. Have a quick look. If you play ADLG, it should all be familiar once you get your head around the 2 units glued together thing with shared cohesion. So thank you very much, Simon.
Yes.
Thank you. Catch you soon.
Bye.